Winter is about to make a big return with a major winter storm likely as we end November and turn into the new month of December with potentially some heavy snow, ice, and even some heavy rainfall again on the table. We're going to be walking you through the weather pattern across the United States, Canada, and also we cover the tropics during tropical weather season on my videos. So make sure to subscribe to the channel if you're new, like the video, give it a thumbs up, share it with a friend, family member, social media, and hype the video. Also, follow me on Facebook for more quick weather updates. We've been building our Facebook page over the past few days, so if you want to follow along there, follow along. I'm going to post the link to that in the description down below the video. Welcome back, everybody, here to Weather on the Go. My name is Hunter, and hopefully everybody's had a wonderful week out there so far on this Friday, November 21st, 2025. And let's get into the forecast. Let's zoom the picture out and show you what it looks like. We got a low pressure trough here, a smaller one, albeit across southeastern Canada up toward the Hudson Bay. A ridge of high pressure extending from the Pacific Northwest through the upper Midwest and the eastern half of the nation here of the lower 48. That's bringing us some quieter weather for the time being. And then we have a cutoff low pressure system from the main flow of the jet stream down here off the coast of California. This is the system that's going to be crawling eastward through the weekend and be a problem for Texas again as we go into the coming days. And looking at the rainfall here that we saw yesterday in Texas, just to give you an update on that, in Menard, Texas, there was a flash flood emergency yesterday afternoon with upwards to a foot of rain that fell in a very short amount of time. So it goes to show that more heavy rain is on the way. Saturated soils are already in place across Texas. And here we go. As we go through today, we got more of that rain moving across the east. Thankfully, much of Texas will be drier. And then as we go into the weekend, we're going to see more of that rainfall coming into Texas, mainly Sunday afternoon, especially Sunday evening, and then going into the overnight hours. And this could be more heavy rain, and unfortunately in similar areas that we're just dealing with it yesterday. So more flash flooding will be on the table as we go overnight Sunday and into Monday. In fact, the Weather Prediction Center is already forecasting that to potentially happen with a slight risk of a flash flood risk here across north central Texas up into Oklahoma here. And this is an area that has had saturated soils now. Remember, 6 to 12 inches of rainfall has already fallen across a majority of North Texas. So flash flooding will be possible. I would not rule out a moderate risk upgrade for flash flooding in North Texas if this trend continues to get stronger for the weekend. We are monitoring some severe weather here this afternoon and evening across the Dixie Alley and the Tennessee Valley from middle and eastern Tennessee, including the Cumberland Plateau, down into eastern Mississippi, north and northwestern Alabama, and a small sliver of northwestern Georgia. There is a tornado threat here. Some rotation with those thunderstorms will be possible. In the green, that's a 2% chance of tornadoes, including Big City there, the Music City of Nashville, all the way down into Florence, Birmingham, Tuscaloosa, Alabama, into Tupelo, as far south here as Jackson, Mississippi, and Meridian. Laurel also included in that in Mississippi this afternoon and evening. But the main threats will be damaging winds upwards to 60 miles per hour and some quarter-size hail. So walking you through the setup here at noon, we got a cluster of showers and storms moving across Mississippi into western and central Alabama. As we go into the afternoon, those storms are going to be progressing further east. Notice how sporadic these storms are. So they're not going to be a widespread severe weather outbreak or anything like that. But we do have to watch the potential for a few tornadoes, especially this evening as the low-level jet starts to increase. If we can get some more storm energy out there later on this afternoon, early this evening, then a couple of those supercells could pop up, producing an isolated tornado threat. Again, this will be an isolated threat, so not everybody will see severe weather here. But looking at the rainfall going through 7 a.m. on Monday, November 24th, and more heavy rain here in the picture for portions of Texas, including the DFW Metroplex up here into southeastern Oklahoma. That's the very area we just mentioned, with that slight risk for flash flooding heading through late weekend and into early next week. Snowfall prospects really aren't there yet as our temperatures are too warm. I think it's mainly the mountains out west or southern Canada still heading through the rest of this weekend. Let's talk temperatures. Again, that's reason why we're not seeing a lot of snow. Our temperatures are just simply too warm. You can see a lot of red and orange, beige colors here on the map. That's above to well above normal temperatures, and that goes right straight through the weekend. More record-breaking heat down here near the Gulf Coast will be possible. Look at Sunday. It gets well above normal in the north. Dakotas, Nebraska, Minnesota, about 30 degrees above normal heading into Sunday afternoon for our temperatures, so that is not going to get the job done for the snow. Winter is roaring back, I feel, as we go into Thanksgiving week. A trough is going to develop here across the southern Canadian prairies, bleeding southward into the upper Midwest, with ridging across the west, ridging across the southeast here as we go into Thanksgiving week. What that's going to set up is an active storm track right there in the heartland of the country. The central U.S. likely seeing above normal precipitation as we go through Thanksgiving week. And this could be a pretty active week, right? So as we go into Monday, we're going to be watching the Mississippi Valley for more heavy rainfall, perhaps some more isolated severe weather down here toward the Gulf Coast. Be keeping an eye on Houston, Shreveport, Monroe, even Jackson, Mississippi for an isolated threat for severe weather heading into Monday evening. Snow is going to be mainly in southern Canada with this system. So Ontario, Quebec, as we go Tuesday into Wednesday, that is mainly where the snowfall will be residing, with still some warm temperatures early on in the week. And then later in the week, this is Thanksgiving, we have a clipper system coming out of Canada, dropping some snow across Montana, northern Wyoming, got some drizzle here into Nebraska. Strong high pressure here into the Midwest will keep us dry as we go into Thanksgiving. A lot of the east outside of the Great Lakes region with the lake effect snow will be dry for Thanksgiving. And then post-Thanksgiving, we're going to be watching that clipper system, seeing what it does. It potentially could spread some snowfall and accumulating snow perhaps across the Minneapolis area into northern Iowa, perhaps Waterloo, Wisconsin, watching you in La Crosse, Green Bay, Madison, and Milwaukee, maybe Grand Rapids, Traverse City, Michigan here. That will be something to watch Friday into Saturday. And then another active storm getting together with a clipper across the Midwest, maybe 24, 48 hours removed from that, going into December 1st. So a pretty active weather pattern is expected. Early next week, we're monitoring again more flash flood potential from northeast Texas up into Arkansas and northern Louisiana. That could stretch as far north and east as the Memphis area and southwest Tennessee. So keeping a very close eye on the flash flooding risk further east as we go into Monday and Tuesday. And looking here again throughout the week, that is the name of the game. We're just going to see a very active weather pattern with potentially some snow north, rainfall, heavy rain at that, and potentially some severe weather further to the south for Thanksgiving week. Here's the rainfall here that we expect as we go through Thanksgiving week. Notice the heaviest down here near the Gulf Coast, but some rainfall across the mid-upper Mississippi Valley will be possible. Some much-needed rain across these areas. And then the snowfall. Right now, the European model is showing some accumulating snow across the northern states here, from the Dakotas into parts of Minnesota, perhaps the Hawkeye state of Iowa, getting into Wisconsin there, into northern Illinois, and then stretching over to Michigan. More lake effect snow with that as well. And then, of course, you got the mountain snow out west in the Rockies, Cascades, and Sierras through Thanksgiving week. GFS model is much more bullish on the snowfall totals. Just keep in mind, this is several days out. Don't focus on the exact snowfall totals. Just look at the placement of the snow, and you can see there's some pretty good agreement here. The European model, the GFS model, showing the northern plains, upper Midwest, into the Great Lakes region here, getting that heavier snow potential as we go through late Thanksgiving week with those clipper systems. So early on next week, it's going to start warm. A lot of this south of Canada will be rain, but potentially some wraparound snow showers there with that first system. Then comes the cold air for Thanksgiving, and then post-Thanksgiving for Thanksgiving weekend, this could lead to some snow and potentially a winter storm across the upper Midwest, northern plains, and then more lake effect snow for the Great Lakes. That's what we're keeping an eye on as that colder air spills south from Canada into the eastern United States. Now let's go up here to the stratosphere, talk about what's happening here in late November. We're also monitoring a sudden stratospheric warming event, and this could be a major event. These happen about 2 to 3 times, potentially, during a winter season, potentially. Usually minor events do occur, but major events could actually cause a very significant global pattern that could bring the polar vortex closer to home. So as we go into the first week of December, I think behind that system, we could have some colder air. It will be limited a little bit, but we could still see some colder air. As we go into the second week of December, I think that's when we start to see the colder air filtering into the east. You can see these greens showing up. That's about 15, 20 degrees below normal temperatures. Going into mid-month, we're going to start to moderate those temperatures briefly before another big cold blast just in time for Christmas and New Year. And this could be the one that is going to affect us with that major sudden stratospheric warming event here, with all that cold air from the stratosphere getting trapped underneath of that warm blob that's warming up the stratosphere, and that means the surface of the Earth will be getting cold here in the east. So be keeping an eye on that. That could be some dangerously cold weather to end the month of December. Also with the cold weather is going to be shifting to the south. Arctic air is dry air, so I feel our storm track will be shifting further south and east as we go later into the month of December, especially the second half and into the new year, and that could provide some southern snow for our folks down here to the south that are cold and snow lovers for, say, the Carolinas, maybe even perhaps Texas, Arkansas, Tennessee, and even Mississippi. So these areas down there could start to see snowfall later on in December. Thank you all for watching. If you found today's video informative, helpful for you in any way, and straightforward, make sure to like the video for first and foremost. Subscribe to the YouTube channel. We cover Canada, we cover the United States and the tropics during tropical weather season. Share the video, hype it, definitely appreciate it. And go follow me on Facebook for quick weather updates. I'm going to post a link down below into the description here in the comment section so you can go follow me on Facebook as well. Thank you all for watching, everybody. Have a fantastic rest of your Friday out there.